let's talk about Dancing with the Stars.
All right.
Because arguably it's the biggest you've ever been.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
I've never experienced this kind of
focus light on you.
I mean, you know, the notion of, if I exercise and I eat right, I get more of this life. Like that kind of ambivalence. I lived a long time with just this ambivalence about being alive, which is part of having a lifetime of being a depressive. I want to live a long, long time now.
Incredible.
Thank you to Dancing with the Stars, which I know how crazy that is.
Yeah, it really.
I mean, it's like that's where.
Yeah,
it wasn't like
never
some
would have saw that
ashram.
coming.
It wasn't.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't like some workshop by some shrink or some cult. It was being on a show where you wore tight clothes with sequins on them, and they shoot confetti cannons at you every week.
It's breaking bread.
Hi, Andy.
Hi, Tom.
So good to see you, buddy.
Thanks for having me at your restaurant.
Thanks for coming.
It only serves 2 people. You can't be making money.
How would you feel if when you got here, there was a maitre d' that you had to get past to get here? Wouldn't that be good?
I have to explain
like
myself.
we need a couple more ads or 3 more Patreon followers, and we can hire a maitre d' to stand there. It would be so great.
That would be nice.
And be like if they kind of said to you, like, well, it's really busy tonight.
Yeah.
Like,
look, maybe you want to talk to Mr. Papa.
If you were to grease my palms,
yeah, a little sugar to talk to Papa.
A little of this.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here. I baked you some bread.
Thank you.
You get
this
to bring
is yours?
it home. Yes. No, now it's
nice.
yours.
No, should I cut into it or should I take it home?
Take it home.
Okay.
Unless you're really hungry.
No.
All right.
No, but it's beautiful.
One of the things we want to add is we need a little thing for olive oil. Like if he were to dive into it, we have to make sure that Andy Richter gets olive oil with it. Yeah. We have one, but I think it's old. Take it home. Make
all right, I'll
toast.
take it home.
But I baked it for you.
No, I
yesterday.
definitely. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Nice. It's a laborious process.
It is pretty long, and I've been doing it for such a long time.
Do you always have
I'm always baking.
You always have some going.
It's always going. When I'm home, it's always going.
I get the urge to bake bread, and I'm like, yeah, but it's going to be 8 hours from now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
2 days from now.
Yeah, or 2 days, depending,
Yeah. No, I know. It was New Year's Eve, for New Year's Day, one of the things that you're supposed to eat, Southern tradition, is black-eyed peas.
Yes, I indulge in that. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, and cabbage, too.
But when you break open, and cabbage, right, and cornbread.
Yeah.
And, but when you crack open the recipe, it's, all right, let's go. Let's make this. It's New Year's Day. Let's make it. Soak the beans for 24 hours. I'm out.
You don't have to do that. You don't. Honestly, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. And this is this is because I actually do know. I cook a lot.
Yes, you do.
And one thing that I cook a lot of is beans. There is a sort of a shortcut process for soaking beans, which is to take the beans, cover them with water, put them on the stove, get them to a boil, just to a boil, turn them off, dump the water out, start the process again. Do that 2 or 3 times, and the beans will be effectively soaked. And you'll have lost all those. I forget what they're called. It's not tannins, but whatever it is in there that's going to make you gassy and that's going to make it hard to digest.
Got it.
So there's different ways to do it. You don't have to, but like bread, there's no shortcut. You gotta let it rise.
I know you can get some yeast and try and do like a speedy version, but the flavors it's
not the same.
No, it's not going to be the same.
The only bread I do mostly is I have found because I am of one of the brands of white that I am. Is Swedish.
Oh, nice.
And there's a Swedish. It's a sweet rye called limpa. Then I grew up eating that. And I found a mix that comes from the Midwest for limpa bread. And it has, but you can make it in it's like 5 hours.
I don't know from limpa.
It's like a rye bread. It's like a light, sweet rye bread, and it's delicious. It's really nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You grew up in Grand Rapids?
I was born in Grand Rapids, but I grew up in Illinois.
Where in Illinois?
A town called Yorkville, straight west of Chicago.
And you had Swedish, and what else?
Swedish
what other way?
And sweet. Well, I just said it because when I when I finally, like to do the DNA thing, it really is like white. Just like you pick a white and I got some of it in me.
Of course.
But it's a German, like the identified ones, we really stuck with the Swedish. But there's also too a lot of English and Scotch, Irish, all of that.
Right.
And French. There's French and Belgium.
What was going on in your house?
Oh my God. Well, it was my maternal grandmother is Swedish. She was full Swedish. But born in China to missionary parents, and then went from China to live in Canada and the Midwest, and so she wasn't totally immersed in Swedish culture. But then when my mom remarried, my stepfather was full Swedish and had a Swedish dad from Sweden. So my mom would every Christmas do all of the Swedish things, which is the thing. Limpa bread would be one of them. They're little thin rolled pancakes, Swedish pancakes, which are fantastic.
Nice.
There is a fruit soup, which is it's like a gazpacho made out of fruit.
Really?
Which is actually, I mean, it can be delicious. It couldn't be gross.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And but my mom made it pretty well, and we did like that.
Right.
The worst, how different cultures have punishment food.
Oh yeah.
It becomes like your burden to abuse yourself with this whatever it is. In Swedish, it's lutefisk.
Oh yeah, I've heard of this.
Yeah,
I've never had it.
It comes in frozen, literal blocks, bricks of codfish.
Yeah.
It has been cured in lye that they used to do so that it would last a whole winter.
Okay.
But you have to soak it for like a day in the open, which causes your whole kitchen to smell like a horrible orifice. I mean, the house will be that. And then you slow cook it in a cream sauce on the stove. Again, more orifice smell all over the entire house. And it is god awful. And everyone it's like,
but
no
you have
one
to do
likes it. Yeah, no one likes it. Maybe real old people that grew up deprived,
They have some nostalgia.
Or a kink,
There are definitely foods that if you didn't grow up with it, you have an honest opinion of it.
Absolutely.
But if your grandmother gave it to you,
yes,
you're like, all right,
yeah.
This one I hesitate to even bring it up because it is good. Strufeli, which is these little honey balls at Christmas time. You take.
Is that the one that they make? Towers out of?
Yeah.
There's like a French version.
There's a French version. Probably the same thing. They do like a wreath with it, put sprinkles on it. It's honey balls. Dough balls fried and dipped in honey.
Yeah.
It's not as sweet as it looks. Like when you see it, I could get where people are like, this
like
is going to be
syrup.
so good.
Yeah.
And then when you eat it, it's kind of a little more tame, a little dry.
Yeah.
But I love it because my grandmother made it.
Right.
So I'm like, honey balls.
Yeah.
And then people are like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean you don't get it?
Yeah.
My grandmother made these.
Why do you hate her? Fuck you.
It's so tied.
You.
It's so tied to the memory.
Yeah.
You can't help it.
My French grandmother, my dad's mom was French, and she didn't cook a lot. And she was kind of very distant even when she was there. But what she did make and it was French peasant food, hand-rolled, hand-cut noodles, which, I mean, as a kid, you're just like, give me the fucking noodles. But with then kind of like a stewed, because it had like a kind of a, like a gravy to it. Chicken hearts and gizzards is a mix. And as a kid, it was vile to me. But now I would kill for a plate of it. Like chicken hearts are the best. It's delicious.
My grandfather was German, and he would have a lot of weird shit like scrapple and head cheese.
Yeah, no, I know.
Which is like Vaseline with chunks of meat in it.
Yeah, it's
that
I don't. That's like they used to eat that. My grandparents used to eat that too, and that was always like no.
There was a line.
I don't even know that I've ever had a bite of head cheese in my life because it's just so repellent.
I had a little bite, and that's why I said no to the tongue.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you lied to me about the head cheese, and I'm not eating the tongue.
No, if you go to first of all, tongue tacos, delicious.
Yeah,
it's stewed. You wouldn't even if you didn't know what it was.
Right,
you wouldn't know what it was.
Interesting. Head cheese. First time in my life thinking it through. Was it because it was?
Yeah, it's pieces of head.
All pieces of head?
It's noses and nose flaps and ears and eyelids and cheeks.
Oh, and because you want it all to be together, you have to put in this gelatin
right, exactly.
kind of thing.
So it wouldn't get lonely.
Wow, why did I block that out?
I don't know.
That is weird. But when you walk into your house as a kid, would you say we are food wise? If I'm coming to your house as your pal, this is a Christmas? This is a Swedish house, or this is just a mishmash house?
It is a mishmash.
Yeah,
mishmash. And because my grandmother, was raised in China, and she liked Chinese food, but that was like la choy.
Right.
Like we had a lot of egg foo young and stuff like that. But she was my grandmother, my mom's mom, was a wonderful cook.
Oh yeah.
But it was very, like when I was a kid, my favorite was chicken and dumplings, which is stewed chicken with basically biscuits dropped into the gravy.
Right.
And it's just white, gooey, salty chicken goodness. And all that kind of stuff.
Right.
It was, pot roasts and meatloafs. But she baked a lot too. And just was like incredible technique, like made French toast that I've spent my entire life trying to replicate.
Really?
I don't know what she did. Just perfectly like caramelized.
What kind
the
of bread
amount
did
of
she
butter.
use?
Pepperidge Farm white bread.
Really?
Every time, which I don't even know if that's an available thing, but it was just like a very dense, soft white bread.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds so good.
I mean, it was better than Wonder Bread.
Yeah.
But it was like fancy Wonder Bread. You know what I mean? Like it still was like it wasn't
it
really wasn't
one
really
step
bread.
up. Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
That's what I do at Thanksgiving. It's like for the leftovers for that turkey sandwich, because I grew up on Wonder Bread.
Yeah.
It's like I have to give me your shittiest white bread.
Yeah, bimbo.
Because that's going to give me the best sandwich.
Yeah.
If I were to come to your house and you're going to show off cooking for me, what is the thing that you make for people?
Well, I now I'm conflicted because I got married again, so I'm in my second marriage, and I married a vegetarian, so it changed my mode of cooking.
Right.
And I'm not I'm not bitching about it. I don't mind living vegetarian. Vegan, that's another story. But vegetarian,
No, that's like my wife.
yeah, vegetarian, I'm fine with, and I probably eat vegetarian now 85% of the time, 90% of the time.
Which is a better way to eat, really.
And I'm not going to make two meals. I'm the cook, too,
Right.
most of the time. So I'm not going to make two meals.
We're living the same life.
Yeah. So sure. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
So I had to adjust my way of cooking. But if you were coming over, and I mean the things
She's out of town.
She's out of town. Yeah. Well, when she's out of town, I'll fucking put a steak in the broiler. Or my 25-year-old son lives with us, and he's a very good cook too.
Oh yeah.
And but he doesn't even wait for her to go out of town, and he'll bring home like a piece of fucking mackerel, and like put it under the broiler. I'm like, please don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Because he's really into Asian food and Japanese food.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so he goes to the Japanese market and gets a beautiful mackerel.
Yeah.
And he likes the oily fish too, more than I
like a
do.
sea
I
bass.
like it okay. You
Right,
know?
yeah.
But I make, as my older daughter complains about, she's like, everything's a stew. Which is gumbo or a real stew or curries. I love making curries.
Which
and
is
stuff,
they say is a sign of you really being able to cook.
Really?
To be able
I
to
didn't
make
know
be
that.
able to make soups and stews.
Yeah.
You have to have really all of the basics and the thoughts of what combines in the right way.
Yeah.
Like if you master that, you can really go out and cook anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell your daughter that.
I mean, I used to, I can roast a chicken pretty well. I'm out of practice.
Yeah.
I was good with the grill and stuff. But I mean, that's all kind of like, and also like, I don't like to
Make your wife mad?
No, I don't like to fuck with a piece of meat too much. It's like if it's a steak,
Yeah, simple.
Just
Yeah.
salt and pepper, maybe a little garlic or something, or a chicken. Like I don't. A lot of food is too complicated for me, and a lot of restaurants too. It's just like I don't want a fucking stack of shit that I'm not exactly sure. Like what's that purple slice in the middle? Like,
right.
And I don't mean to be like. I'm not like anti-fancy or anti-gourmand or anti Rudy Tooty. It's like no, it just seems fear-based. It seems like you don't know how to make a piece of chicken simply that I will go, wow, that's fucking great. So you got to jazz it up with a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah,
no,
exactly. I know. I talked to a chef. They were known in New York. What was the name of it? Crudo or they were known for their roast chicken.
Yeah.
And when he told me how he made it, it was like, oh, there's no ingredients in this.
Yeah.
There was salt and pepper and maybe rosemary
technique.
and then just technique and how to cut it and how to do it and what temperature, and you were done.
Yeah.
You were out of there. Let's talk about Dancing with the Stars.
All right.
Because this was such a fun thing to watch.
Oh, thank you.
Because we know a lot of people, different friends and celebrities and whatever who go on the show.
A number of people who have gone through there.
Yeah, go through there, and it's like, oh, they're going to go through and then do it, and they'll be on for an episode or two, and they'll do their thing, and depending on what skill level they have, they'll last or they won't last.
Yeah.
But what happened to you, my friend, was I'd never seen it before.
It was bananas.
It was insane. It was the coolest part of it, besides knowing you and all that kind of stuff. The coolest part was it was kind of like if you were to watch a movie from the 80s.
Yeah.
Which this never happens. It would happen, but it doesn't happen anymore. Someone would do something in a movie in the 80s, and they'd show the magazine covers. And they would show and people
Spinning,
in a bar turning it on. And
everyone
had to see it, and people were united by the positive thing that this person was doing.
Yeah.
And you had that moment, which is so rare to begin with, and even more rare today.
It absolutely surprised me. I still don't fully understand what happened. My wife and I we were at I have a twin brother and sister who just turned 50, and they're from Chicago, and they decided to have a destination birthday party in New Orleans, which the main event was they did a second line parade for their birthday. So they hired a band we did a parade down the street, which at first I was like, oh, this is going to be awkward. And it was the best. It was so much fun.
How many people are in the parade?
About 40.
Really?
Yeah, they had a bunch of friends come down, and then they even too met up with some people because there was a Bears game I think Bears Packers that night, and they at the hotel bar the night before saw somebody in a Bears hat, and then just absorbed this group of 8 people who were Bears fans, and they were in the parade too. Yeah,
that is. I never heard of doing that.
Yeah, no, and it was funny because my wife and I were walking around later that night. We went to dinner on our own, and we saw a wedding one. There was a wedding after dark.
How cool!
So and it was $1,800.
Great.
They play all this fantastic horn. It's all horns. It's all great New Orleans music.
And then they dump you off in a bar.
And you get your destination place is a really great bar that has a great band playing there.
Amazing.
And as you go along the route, people are coming out of their houses. It makes everybody happy.
That's so great.
It was so much fun. And cops on motorcycles, both of them smoking big cigars.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're like, yeah, sure, I'll take that duty. But
That's fantastic.
But so, I've been on TV for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I get noticed, and I'll get people come up or they'll say nice things, but not, it's not. It's very livable. It's not
right.
I'm not like I can't go to the grocery store or something. In New Orleans, I probably took 100 selfies with people.
Really?
There were groups of young, and this is the thing too. This is the other inexplicable thing to me: young women, groups
who are
of
fans
young
of that show.
Women, and me.
And now are fans.
And now they're like, you're adorable. We love you so much. And I'm first well, they're not attracted to me. Like this
Right.
isn't like, this
Yeah.
isn't an attraction thing. So there's part of me, it's like, well, what is this? And then there is sort of this like, am I just like a big baby cuddly thing to them? Like, what is this? But I think it's a
Right.
dad thing.
Sure.
It's like I have a very dad energy nowadays.
Yeah.
And but like groups of women coming out of bars, and it's just New Orleans too, so they're all Southern, and they all look like they're dressed for a job interview, but they're just getting fucked up in a group of like 8, but wearing like pearls and shit. And they come out screaming my name. Like at one point, we're walking down Bourbon Street, and we're getting to that parade,
Yeah.
and I'm hearing Andy. Now, like I'm like I can't, like we're gonna be late for the parade if I take more selfies with people.
Wow.
But just beyond, I don't understand. And I mean, I do feel, and I've said this before, I do feel proud of, and first of all, I have to give a lot of credit to my partner, Emma Slater, who I was just lucky enough to be paired with her.
Yeah.
She knows what she's doing.
Right.
And she knew what she was doing with me.
Uh-huh.
And
what does that mean?
That means she knew how to showcase me in the best possible way.
Right.
Which was a combination of, it all started with doing TikToks and Instagram stuff. And she told me the first day that we met, we're going to do 2 or 3 TikToks a day. And as I've said,
day?
like take your vitamins. And I was like, all right. I was just like in compliance mode.
Yeah.
Because I had going into it, like I like to say, I was not starting at 0. I was starting at -0.
Right.
I was like, what the fuck have I done?
Why did I say yes?
Do not, this is going to be awful. I'm going to hate this. It's all fucking, glitter and sequins and
Yeah.
showbiz bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's all the stuff I've been trying to avoid. And also then like, which is all on top, that's all the cool brave stuff on top of the chicken shit fat kid. Like I don't want to be sweating and
Right.
breathing heavily in front of everyone and everyone to see oh, there's Fatty, can't do the thing.
You in 4th grade.
Exactly. Like
Right.
it was just the president's physical fitness test.
Was that you as a kid?
Oh, yeah.
You were having a hard time in gym class?
Yeah, and I mean, I wasn't even like the fat kid. And in the sort of like long distance run and the
Yeah.
president's thing, the fat kid would beat me. Like I was a chunky kid, but I was not the fat kid. And every year the fat kid would run faster than me. And I would try. And it's just like, I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
And so I just like,
Wow.
And I had been an athlete, I played sports and I like playing sports. And then, and later in life, I played tennis and golf and and I'm not afraid. And I'm a good baseball player,
But there's still that little kid.
There's just that, like
embarrassment.
Like that
thing.
embarrassment of like, just,
Yeah.
because it's the whole thing too is that it's like, it's my fault. Like the fact that I'm not like that that the fat kid was beating me, somehow that's my fault.
Right.
And I know that's not good or right or
Isn't it
makes
crazy?
any sense. But it's this built-in self-loathing programming that's always going to be there, and I'm just going to have to learn to live with it and to negotiate around it.
It doesn't matter what we carry.
Yeah.
We really carry all of it the whole ride.
Yeah.
It really is such a short ride.
Yes.
Like you think, oh, well, that was when I was in 4th grade.
That was 5 minutes
That was
ago.
5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It literally was 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So when you said yes, did it take some convincing?
No, it didn't. It didn't. And in fact, the Dina Katz, who does the casting, who's fantastic and did an amazing job because the show is bigger than possibly it's ever been this year. But they made the offer in April, and I've said this before. My first inclination was to go. I said, say no and don't tell Jen, my wife.
Right.
Just don't even let her know that they asked. Just don't do it. But literally a second or two later, I'm like, I have to do this. Like, I
Right.
have to do this because I had also gotten to the point where, like, Jen and I have a almost 6-year-old together. So, I mean, I'm busy. I'm certainly not sitting around. But like I had, I have physical shit that was going on, a bad knee and what turns out to be a bad hip that I'm actually getting replaced on Friday.
Really?
In 2 days, I'm going under the knife to get a new left hip.
I've just side note. I have a couple friends that did that recently.
Yeah.
And it changed their life.
They're like, get a new. I mean, they're going to start giving new hips to people that don't need them.
Yeah.
Just because the people
We're thinking
who
of
have
getting
them are so advocating.
We're going to get them just for guests of the
yeah,
podcast.
Yeah, sure. Here you go. Certificate. Stop at
We give
Wound
you a
Care
loaf of
down the
bread.
street. Yeah. But I didn't find out about the hip thing until June. You know, I was in the middle of it, and I had to ask the doctor, can I do Dancing with the Stars?
Oh.
And he's like, yeah, you'll be fine. He goes, you know, we can give you injections that'll help you, you know, like just sort of Band-Aids.
Like a cortisone kind of thing.
Yeah, cortisone. And then there's also, there's something, I think it's called hyaluronic acid that they shoot in. And that you kind of have to take it easy for a few days, but then it turns into kind of a gel that acts as the cartilage that is no longer exists.
Wow.
You know, that doesn't exist there again.
They use, fun fact, they use that same gel to hold all of the meat parts in head cheese.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Maybe they can just put a slice of head cheese in there and I can save some money. But yeah, so I was at a point where I was like, I wasn't going to the gym like I used to. And because, you know, and I also, you know, my whole life I went to the gym because I hired a trainer. I didn't go to the gym until I made enough money to pay someone because like the whole, and for me, the whole notion of like, so if I exercise and don't eat the food that I like to eat, it means I get more of this.
Right.
Like this thing I'm fairly ambivalent about.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that.
Yeah.
I mean, how much are we talking this exercise? Well, it's 6 months?
Yeah.
I'll take this. I'll take the 6 months off the back end if I just don't have to run now.
Yeah.
You know?
Leave me alone.
But I knew that was.
So what was the
not
biggest impetus for
sustainable.
saying yes?
Was getting my ass moving.
Really?
Yeah. I knew that too. Also, saying yes to I make TV. If I say yes to a TV job, I have to do it.
Right.
If
something
somebody
clicks when
Yes.
you have a gig. All of a sudden, I always say, like, you never get in better shape than when you have a gig on the horizon.
Absolutely.
And you don't even have to think about
Absolutely.
it. Your subconscious is like, let's move it, fatty.
And I had even at the time when I was like, well, I'll do it, and I'll, you know, because. And it pays pretty well too. That's the other thing is like, okay,
a nice
I'll
gig.
take that. But you know, I'm like, I make it a couple of weeks there. You know, if I say I get voted out the first round, okay, whatever. I made a nice paycheck or whatever.
Right, and I'm on TV.
But I also had the intention to do it. You know, and then as I got into it and started doing it, I realized, no, that I have to do this. Like I have to commit to getting better at this thing and to slowly building up, you know, my ability to do this.
And that started with the TikToks?
No, the TikToks were all politics. The TikToks were, she started having me do them, which I didn't fully understand TikTok at all. I was like, wait, we're just doing shit that other people have done? Like, yep. I'm like, we're not going to like put a little wrinkle in it. Nope. We're just going to do the same. Okay.
Right.
You know, and I also felt a little bit, in terms of the other people on the show, make short comedy videos as a side note to your dancing. I sort of felt like, and I've said this before, like if there was an MLB player in a chef competition and they said, we're also going to have batting practice.
Right.
It'd be like, okay, I can do that. So it's like make short comedy videos. All right. I think I can do that. So we would just, you know, she'd give me these things and and it's like, I know how to make something funny, you know? I mean, it's what I do.
Yeah.
So, and then I don't know how many days into it, she just showed me one. She's like, look at that one. It was like 1.6 million views. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then it just started to build and build and build. And people were dressing like me for Halloween because I wore 2 black knee braces because my knees just to hold my knees together, and I sweat a lot from the head, so I ordered like 6 white terry headbands, and then I'd wear shorts and a t-shirt, and then black shoes because they're like dancing shoes. And people wore that uniform as me to Halloween. Like not just one or two, like dozens and dozens of people online dressed as me, dressing their babies as me, putting little like electrical tape knee braces on their legs, dressing their cats like me. Seeing, the New York Marathon, somebody holding up a sign that says, if Andy can make it to week 7, you can make it 26.3 miles. Like just shit happening out in the universe that just was like,
Just
wow,
catching.
just could not
Just
believe
catching.
it. Yeah. And shots of people each week recording themselves, reacting to me getting through another week and losing their shit with joy and excitement that I was getting through to another week.
Yeah. Because arguably it's the biggest you've ever been.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
I've never experienced this kind of
hyper focused light on you.
I mean, there were different points when I was working with Conan when there would be a lot of focus on us and stuff.
Yeah.
But not like this.
Yeah.
And not like this, me, it was me and Emma, but me because I'm the one that's, Emma works there. I'm the one that's a guest, that's going to be there for a while. So it
Dancing with the Star.
It just kept going and going. And it was really transformative to me in so many levels. One of the first ones was that there was a couple times where we were doing dances and also because Emma and I, just hit it off like crazy. And I love her. And I don't, I'm so glad that I have a secure wife where I can say, this beautiful 36-year-old woman that I'm dancing with, I love her.
Right.
She loves me. We love each other,
Deal with it.
Yeah. And so we would there was a couple different sort of dances that were more on sort of an emotional side. And there was a couple times in rehearsal I'd do them and I just would burst out crying.
Really?
And it was not sad. It was just like, I was just feeling like, oh, this is dancing. This is what they're talking about with dance. And I didn't know whether I was opening up to something in the universe or whether it was something that was coming out of me.
It
was just a raw emotion that goes beyond being able to speak what it meant or anything. It was just movement, but a sort of a learned movement that you follow, and that it was definitely something where you had to learn it to forget it, and then you just did it without thinking about it, and then
your soul gets involved.
This joy would just come out, know? And so that was one big thing about it. Going into it and having all this kind of, body shame, like fearing that I couldn't do shit, feeling like an old man because I got to get a new hip and all this stuff, thinking more about physical limitations. Like, and I'm 59. I'm not that old, but I started to feel like I was more focused on like what I couldn't do anymore than what I could do.
Right.
And after doing this thing I was in it for 9 weeks. I got to the quarterfinals. I felt like I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Right.
I mean, like, and after I get the new parts, especially, it's like I can't, I can't think of myself and like, well, I can't really do that anymore because
beyond like when
I'm old and out of shape and whatever,
Right. Because when people watch it, you're thinking, oh, they're just watching that dance.
Yeah.
And they're thinking, and even if they're listening right now, they're thinking, oh, so he could do that dance.
Yeah.
But when I ran into you the other day, you were like, no, the training was insanely
minimal,
intense.
4 hours a day, 7 days a week.
4 hours
a day. The entire time. From the last week of August to the third week in November, I worked 7 days a week. I think there was like 2 days that I had off, and that was like, one of them was because it was a holiday that the crew, they had to give the crew the day off.
Right.
And they're not going to they don't give a shit if we rehearse on a day when they can't film it.
Yeah.
Because one of the things you find out, and even the director was up front at one point, and I love this, when they are, before the first dance, we're on the floor and he's telling us stuff, and he goes like, and if you're injured, like, please stay facing front to camera. Unless you're really injured, then put your hand up and we'll cut away. But if you feel like you can go on or the injury's not that serious, we definitely want to watch every second of it.
Right.
And there was a couple points where like somebody got their nose broke,
Right.
and they weren't filming it, and people got in trouble. Like, because it was like right at the end of the day, and people had gone home, and somebody got their nose broke.
They have to recreate it.
And no, but I mean, they were like, nobody, like,
yeah.
they were like, why didn't you at least get your phone out? You know?
Yeah.
So that, they want they don't give a shit about you rehearsing and getting good. They want everything on camera.
Of course.
So I only had like 2 days off in that whole month stretch. And it is punishing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just for old me, for the young people too. Like they have a physical therapist on staff, and I'm lined up behind 27-year-olds who are going like, I'm waking up in the middle of the night with my legs aching,
Yeah.
And it's and when I was eliminated, the feeling, it didn't feel like, oh, it's good. It felt like I had stopped some form of hurting myself.
Right.
Like it didn't just feel like,
yeah.
like I stopped exercising and now I can relax. It felt like I was healing something that I had been doing to myself.
This is about time.
Yes, yes. And
so
like
funny.
I said, I had to go through and get injections in my hip, and then my knee started to blow. I had my knee drained, and you know. So
when did the cocaine kick in?
No cocaine. That stuff is, the hangover on that stuff is too bad.
Aren't there some times in show business where you're like, oh, now when you're so tired and you're like, oh, I see why people did cocaine all through the 80s.
Yeah.
It was like, because this coffee isn't doing it.
I also think too, like I went to film school in Chicago, and I started working in the film industry, which is commercials.
Yeah.
In Chicago, a few years after cocaine stopped.
Right.
And the producer would tell me, he'd tell me stories like every commercial that we shot, there had to be cocaine. It was just from the agency and from the clients, it was just, it'd be built into the budget, like into the lighting package, or wigs and mustaches would be for cocaine. And you had to have it there for everybody. And I just, with my personality, I would have been like, I don't even like it that much, but if everybody's doing it, I'll do it, Like I just was lucky enough to, timing wise, avoid it, because I would have been like, okay, I guess I'll get addicted to cocaine.
Well, it's so funny when you hear people talk about it. Even there was the Martin Scorsese documentary, when they made New York, New York, and it was like everybody was like, it's giving people more energy. We're able to work longer hours. What we're making is garbage.
Yes. There are so many movies that you watch that I watch, and I'm just like, cocaine.
Yeah.
Like Showgirls. That movie is just, you could snort that movie, like that's just cocaine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a lot of like the big 80s action movies.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, like Lethal Weapon.
Right.
Like that just feels like everybody. There was like residue on every surface.
It's just all coked
yes,
up.
Yeah.
No, you're better making things at a slower pace, but you got some kind of handle on it. And now a word from our sponsors. We'd like to thank the good people at IQ Bar for sponsoring today's program. IQ Bar is our exclusive snack, hydration, and coffee sponsor. IQ Bar protein bars, IQ Mix hydration mixes, and IQ Joe mushroom coffees are the delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel you need to win your day. I love talking about a company that I use and love. I keep IQ Bars literally in the house and in my bag when I'm on the road. And when I come in here to the studio and I'm in between meals, an IQ Bar just hits me just right. The flavors are great. Even my wife, who doesn't like any protein bar flavor kind of things, is now packing them in her bag. The flavors are great, and it just kind of levels me out and gets me through. And I realize, I didn't even have lunch today, and IQ Bar is taking care of it. Same thing when I'm in working out or the sauna. You use the IQ Mix, put in some water with some ice, mix it up, and you've got better hydration than just water, and it feels like you're actually drinking something good. And now in the new year, isn't it time that I think probably most people's New Year's resolution is be more like Tom, right? I would think.
board.
Yeah. So I would think that's this is the time for you to do it. The Ultimate Sampler Pack is a great way to try all IQ Bar products and flavors. You get 9 IQ bars, 8 IQ Mix sticks, and 4 IQ Joe sticks. All IQ Bar products are clean label certified, entirely free of gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial ingredients. Start carrying IQ Bar's plant protein bars in your bag. They're the smarter snack choice with plenty of plant protein. And you can change up your morning routine with IQ Joe, a mushroom coffee designed for mental clarity and packed with 200 milligrams of natural caffeine. Plus, it comes in 4 different flavors that are better than any brewed coffee. If you're going to dial things in, and everybody gets that kind of feeling at this time of year, this is a way to do it where it's not going to be a struggle. You're not going to feel like a loser. You're not going to feel like it's work to be better. This is just going to slide into your life and make you better. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, including the Ultimate Sampler Pack plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text PAPA to 64,000. Text PAPA, P-A-P-A, to 64,000. That's PAPA to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. Thank you, IQ Bar. And if you want to send me more stuff for free, I'll take it. We'd also like to thank the good people at ButcherBox. ButcherBox, great company. It's a new year. You got new rhythms, your new diets, trying to dial things in. It's nice to know that you have a freezer full of great products from ButcherBox. If you're dialing in your nutrition or just trying to eat a little cleaner after the holiday free-for-all, ButcherBox makes it easy with premium staples and kid-friendly go-tos that help you stay on track without cooking multiple meals. It's 2026. It's your year to feel stronger and eat smarter, and ButcherBox delivers the good stuff. High-quality proteins, no antibiotics, no added hormones, no mystery labels, just the kind of clean fuel that supports actual results. ButcherBox delivers over 100 premium protein options. Just go on ButcherBox and take a look at what they've got. 100% grass-fed beef, free-range organic chicken, crate-free pork, and wild-caught seafood. For over a decade, ButcherBox has led the industry with meat and seafood that's antibiotic-free, hormone-free, independently verified. It's the clean, trustworthy protein you want to be eating, especially at the start of a new year. I have to say, frozen seafood, keeping that in there, is such a great thing because when you're cooking it, you don't have to defrost it. You can get away with it with other meats, other proteins, but fish can cook quickly without having to defrost first. You wrap it in some tin foil, put it in there. It'll just take a little longer, not as hot, and you have your meal. And it's great. You put that over a little greens, a little lettuce, maybe a little potato on the side. Happiness. As an exclusive offer, new listeners can get their choice between filet mignon, New York strip, or chicken breast in every box for a year. Plus, $20 off when you go to butcherbox.com/papa. That's right, your choice of filet mignon, New York strip, or chicken breast in every box for an entire year, plus $20 off your first box and free shipping always. It's nice to get all your protein from a place that's sourcing it so you know you're getting good stuff. That's butcherbox.com/papa. Don't forget to use our link. It's a great way to get a great product and support your favorite podcast. And we'd like to thank the good people at Monarch. Managing your money doesn't have to be a struggle this year. Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool designed to make your life easier. It brings your entire financial life, budgeting, accounts, investments, net worth, and future planning together in one dashboard on your laptop or phone. You can start your new year on the right foot financially and get 50% off your Monarch subscription with code PAPA, P-A-P-A. If you're like me and you're here in January and you're thinking, what are we going to do? How successful are we going to be? You start setting some goals, and financial goals are a big part of it. It's great to have a tool where you can look at everything in your finances. As you start plugging all this stuff in, you realize there's things that you don't even normally think about. And now you have a product, a company that does it all for you. There's the AI assistant that gives you 24/7 access to a financial coach, accessible from anywhere in Monarch. From questions about how has my shopping spend trended in the last 2 months? How can I plan to pay off my student loan debt? The AI assistant is there with answers. They also give you insights. Monarch will comb through the data to surface insights personalized to you, such as hidden patterns, identifying lifestyle creep versus inflation, changes in savings rates, and more. Let Monarch look out for your money with a personalized weekly summary that alerts you to spending spikes, big shifts in net worth, and upcoming expenses. Here's some real user results. Monarch helped users save over $200 per month on average after joining. That's great. 8 out of 10 members feel more in control of their finances with Monarch, and 8 out of 10 members say Monarch gives them a clearer picture of where their money's going. You can't think about all this stuff. It's nice to have an assistant right there at your fingertips. And this new year, achieve your financial goals for good. Monarch is the all-in-one tool that makes proactive money management simple all year long. Use the code PAPA, P-A-P-A, at monarch.com for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with the code PAPA, P-A-P-A. Look, you're saving money already. And now back to the show. Like, you winning it wouldn't have done any more for the experience. Like, America had fallen in love with you, and it was the whole thing, right?
It had started to turn, too, because it was mostly, like all I would see online for most of it. And like I say, I went through 9. It's an 11-week season, and I got to 9 weeks.
Yeah.
And about week 7, there were a lot more people who were like, why the fuck is that guy still here?
Right.
He can't dance.
The real dancers.
Yeah, he's not like a good
fans.
dancer. It's called Dancing with the Stars, which I was always like, yeah, Dancing with the Stars.
Right.
Not Dancing with the Dancers.
Yeah.
Because who gives, the other thing, and I would get so fucking worked up. I'd be, to my wife and to Emma. But I would be like, okay, why don't you make the show Dancing with the Pro Dancers, put it on TV and see how fucking long it lasts. Yeah. See how many people want to watch really good technical dancing.
You need me on that wall.
Yes. You need somebody that sucks.
For a point.
Yeah.
Up to a point.
And there were, because also too, like, and everybody on the show would say, like, that season was the, like, deepest talent-wise. Like, there were like 6 people or 5 or 6 people that could really fucking dance.
Right, yeah.
Who were like reality people or, Olympic athlete or whatever.
Yeah.
Or influencer, but just also like fucking amazing athlete and wonderful dancer.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of people that were really great. There was started to be a couple people that like went home before I did, and I would say, yeah, you could make the case that they were better dancers than me. But the thing is, and this is the thing that they didn't, that I would feel like, it's a dance competition, but it's first a TV show.
Right.
And you're giving people a chance to vote for who do you want to be in the TV show next week. Right. Which is why we kept because people wanted to see us in the TV show next week.
Yeah. And back to what you were saying about the emotion of it.
Yeah.
And having all of that, you're expressing yourself.
Yeah.
I live in a house full of dancers. My wife is a dancer, my daughters, and I learned everything that you learned about dance, of the emotion in it and the selling of it. And my wife would watch the kids and be like, oh, that one, see how expressive she is, see what she's emoting, and she's telling a story. You were telling a story. Yeah. It's not just the technical part of the dancing. It's you were expressing, you were going through all that, and people felt it. Yeah. So that should be on the show for a long time.
Well, and again, Emma did a wonderful job too of changing up our dances. Yeah. Like where one week was kind of silly, and then one week was straight up campy, and then one week was kind of more sentimental, and then another week was like we did a priest fighting a demon. We did a straight up horror movie dance, and a lot of the other people just basically did sexy, sultry dance.
Right,
You know,
right.
and then you just like every week was just, you know.
Snoozeville.
Yeah. Well, no, but I mean, amazingly technical, but didn't have a lot of variation in terms
Right.
of like what you were giving as a little short story.
Sure.
We did offer people a lot of fun stuff for their, you know, their TV dollar.
Yeah.
And when I think if I had stuck around, and I'm, you know, and I have people, I did my radio show today, and somebody that called in said before they got to their question or their point, they were like, by the way, like you were robbed. There's no way. He's like, with the votes you were getting, you should have won. And there are people that have said to me, like, you were getting so many votes, you had to have stuck around. You know, like you had to have, like, and I mean, and there were we get indications from people on the show. We were getting a shit ton of votes. Like stuff would happen, and Emma would be like, I've never experienced this before. We're getting a ton of votes.
So do you think the fix was in at the end?
Well, I don't know, but honestly, and they will tell you, the people that work on the show will say like, well, there's standards and practices, so it's all up on the up and up. Which I'm like, honey, don't kid a kidder. I know the
you're
way
producing
fucking
a show.
TV works.
Right.
I really think that if I had stuck around one more week, it would have gotten ugly. Like people would have been like, what the fuck is that old fat man still doing there when the guy that just got 4 10s just got sent home?
Right.
And I honestly too, I don't know that I could have the workload in those last 2 shows, in the semifinals and the finals, was so heavy. I don't know if I could have done it. I don't know if my knees would have held up.
Right.
I don't know. I just don't.
And is it true that if you break a leg as a comedian in a dance competition, they have to shoot you? Isn't that a thing?
I hope. Oh, finally. No, but there was. I mean, It was fine. It was fine, and I felt. And I said it when I left. I said, I feel like a winner. I don't, you know, I never expected to get this far. I had like a very pessimistic outlook on it.
Yeah.
And it became a wonderful thing and a very transformative thing.
Yeah.
I am a better person for having done, and this is the thing. And I mean, and like kind of big, like when I talked before about, you know, the notion of, oh, if I exercise and I eat right, I get more of this life. Like that kind of ambivalence. I'm not kidding. I lived a long time with just this ambivalence about being alive. Which is part of having a lifetime of being a depressive.
Right.
And that has changed over the last few years. That depressive part has changed, and I've made lots of changes in my life. And I don't know, could just time and age has made me sort of like be better at being alive. But that kind of ambivalence, even though my life is so much better and I feel so much more connected to the world, there still was a touch of that ambivalence. And doing a ballroom dancing show competition made that go away. Like I want to live a long, long time now.
Incredible.
Thank you to Dancing with the Stars, which I know how crazy that is.
Yeah, it really.
I mean, it's like that's where.
Yeah,
you know, it wasn't
you
like
never
some
would have saw that
ashram.
coming.
It wasn't.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't like some workshop by some shrink or some cult. It was being on a show where you wore tight clothes with sequins on them, you know, and they shoot confetti cannons at you every week.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it was truly amazing.
It's so great. You never would have saw that chapter coming.
Never ever.
Never. Let's talk about late night TV for a while. Because you had such a run. Yeah. And it really, and there's a bigger picture of late night that is kind of synced up to your run.
Yes. Yeah, lots of drama about it, which is fucking hilarious.
It is kind of hilarious, but also, you know, it's also the shift in the culture and how we digest things and stuff. You guys had a great show.
Yes, thank you.
I loved. That's where we first met, and I did your show more than any other show that as a comedian, and you guys were always just so. You made comedians feel so comfortable and wanted, which is even when you do other shows, it's like you're just kind of filling some time with Conan and yourself, and you'd come to the hallway,
the whole crew,
everybody, the band, even the band, like the people from the band would seek you out.
So proud of that aspect of the show, and bands especially, like guest bands, they're there all day. They're going to be
Right.
there in the morning, and then they do the song 3 or 4 times, and then they're like, they got 3 or 4 hours to kill, and
Yeah.
then they just are kind of hanging around. And every bands just would say, "This is the nicest place to kill 3 and 4 hours. You guys
Yeah.
are so nice.
best.
It's so much fun." It's and that made me feel so good
Yeah.
because that's very important to me. You know, morale and hospitality and
Yeah.
is our house. And it's
Yeah.
like how you treat your
Everybody,
guests
the
has gotta-
writers,
yeah.
anybody you ran into, you never run into one person in that scenario and be like,
There just
what was that
wasn't,
guy's
yeah,
problem?
there wasn't a lot of room for dicks. you
No.
know, aside from Conan.
Well, yeah,
You know?
I mean, yeah, the elephant in the room.
Right, exactly.
But watching starting in New York and then coming out and then all of the craziness of all that stuff. And were you surprised how the landscape of late night started to shrink? Were you surprised? Like, did you see it coming?
The most striking thing would be that the Tonight Show or Colbert would get a rating that was like a good solid rating, and it would have been the kind of rating that would have gotten us fired
Right.
at 12:30 in the
beginning.
mid-90s.
Yeah.
In the mid-90s. Whatever they were getting on the Tonight Show tonight that was like, "Oh, they're doing well," would have been like
would have
dog
been
shit
gone.
in 1995.
Insane.
And it's just there's just not that many people watching late night anymore. And it is like it is a dying
Form.
form. And then it's not its fault. I mean, first of all, the reason that it exists is because it's cheap.
Right.
It was an easy way to put on an hour of television and get famous people to come on. You know,
Right.
the deal of like, you come on and promote your thing, and we'll get to
Right.
have people see Gina Lollobrigida, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was cheap. It was easy to do. It worked.
Yeah.
And it worked for a long
For a
time.
long time.
And I go back and I'll watch a Tonight Show. I'm amazed at how fucking slow everything is.
Yeah.
And I think when I was a kid, wasn't it 90 minutes?
Yeah.
Every night.
Every night.
And you watch segments and it's like, they didn't talk about anything.
Or their
for
sketches.
6 or 7. Oh,
Their sketches were like 12 minutes long.
and just awful.
I know.
You know, and like just with like a turban.
Yeah.
That's it. Turban and index cards, and that's all you're going to do.
And it just kept going and going and going.
But people, they weren't saturated the way they are
No.
now. And now too, that kind of the notion of, you know, the sort of communal campfire kind of aspect of it that TV used to sort of serve.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. And going back to Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about this until somebody said it, that this, for a lot of young people, Dancing with the Stars was their first communal TV experience.
Mm-hmm.
They never had the last episode of MASH or the last
Right.
episode of Friends or, you know, whatever. Aside from sports,
Yeah.
they never sat and watched things all together.
And yeah.
And now too, they get to talk about it together while it's happening.
Yeah.
You had that for a while, but then that just kind of dissipated. And there's lots of like ways for people to make jokes about like topical humor. It's all, you know,
It's
you've
all
got
coming out.
social media, you've got, videos.
In real time.
There's video games, you know,
Yeah.
like there's so many immersive video games that people are playing, you know, that, and with on-demand viewing, it's
Yeah.
hard to say there's a white guy behind a desk and he's going to have some celebrities on and they're going to tell the same fucking stories that you've heard 1,000 times.
Right.
And you're going to go, "Oh my God, I can't believe they got Lady Gaga to play ping pong or whatever." You
Yeah.
know, just it doesn't thrill people the way it used to.
It almost seems, I've been thinking about this recently, that what I think, if you were to take that form and make it relevant again, you have to go back to what you guys were doing in the early days of being a little bit more
Yeah.
avant-garde, renegade, alternative, just having fun, like doing stuff, wild stuff.
Yeah.
Like having that, almost like the smallness would make it big again.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I don't think, and I'm not good at this, like this soothsayer TV stuff.
Yeah.
but people like used to ask me like, if there would be a changeover in personnel, like a host leaving and like James Corden left, and they're talking about like who should replace them, and there were a lot of people online, which I just knew like they're not going to replace. They're not. That's not like they're looking for another host or he moved on. That's just they're done with this format.
With that show.
It costs too much.
Yeah.
And they're going to do something else. And then they tried At Midnight, which was fucking fantastic and hilarious. And now that's gone. And they're probably, I don't know, they're probably going to run, repeats.
Comics Unleashed is running now.
Is that what it is?
That's yeah.
I mean, which is
was a syndicated show.
A syndicated show. So they're just
they're done out of that business.
That business to somebody else or that time slot.
Yeah.
So, but people I remember when Corden left and people were online clamoring for representation. Like, let's see an Ali Wong in there. Let's see a woman of color in there. And my feeling was, no, let's not.
Right.
Because they will be doomed to failure because this is already a damaged vehicle that's got a broken axle. And they're going to it's going to give everybody who wants to have an excuse to say, we tried using a woman of color and it just didn't work.
Right.
It's like, no, you put them in a flaming car and then said they didn't win the Indy 500,
Yeah.
So I was kind of like glad that they didn't even mess around with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I would always say when people would ask me those kind of things back, I mean, now nobody, because it's like, who's going to host the next thing? People are like, there's no next thing.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But I would say the person that's going to turn the format around, we don't even know who they are.
Yeah.
We don't know their name. And I think if they're going to, and also if you're going to turn the format around, it's not going to be on television. It's maybe going to be on YouTube. But that's difficult because any kind of late night talk show has not really translated well to any kind of streaming.
No.
Sarah Silverman's tried it. Different people have tried it. And
they were good shows,
and
but
they're good, funny shows.
It's missing that appointment
people
thing.
aren't used to, like, it's not as easy, to just sort of like put on Channel 4,
Yeah. It's a strange thing because you're watching it unfold and you don't know how it's going to end. And it's like this slow motion car crash. You know what I mean? It's like just watching it kind of. How much fun did you have? When was it the most fun for you?
Because
that was a long run.
Probably the mid '90s when it was still so. When I was young and had all the kind of energy and also like had so much more drive. When I came back to do the TBS show, I was just happy to be in one place that was 7 minutes from my home.
Right.
And I was home every night for my older kids. I was home for dinner every night for 11 years for my older kids. And nobody in television gets that.
No.
Unless you're, I don't know, like, morning show on, Good Morning America or whatever. So that was great. But in those early days, I had ambition and I wanted to do more and I wanted to be part of something. And that, and that drive too was what made me leave in the first place. I had enjoyed this kind of run but I wasn't ready to just be a supporting player to somebody for the rest of my career. I wanted to see if I could trade up and also, quite frankly, when I started, I had always wanted to be a character actor.
Right.
And this was a wonderful sort of like side road, but I didn't want to be myself on TV. I wanted to be characters. So I wanted to get back to that and try and act. And also, and just try and, the show business especially is, and in those days especially, I always see it as like a ladder, and each, like the first rung would be to get the chance to write a pilot, then it would be like getting the pilot produced, and then it would be getting the pilot ordered, then it would be getting the back whatever episodes ordered, and it's any point you can get kicked off that ladder. But at the end of that, at the other. And you can see it, is never having to work another day in your life. Is like a fucking money tree growing in your yard and being able to do whatever the fuck you want to do. So it was very intoxicating to try and get on that ladder and see how far you could go.
And the latter existed at that time.
It sure did,
It had
you
a-
know.
it was-
Now it's like it's a step ladder.
Yeah, it's going in different shoots.
Yeah.
and-
Right. And and your money tree is like maybe a shrub,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
But in the 90s, that was when it had the most sort of like romantic young people fucking killing themselves doing a show and traveling around and just and living in New
energy
York,
of New York
living in New
and-
York, not having kids.
When you say like you want to be a character actor and you're finding your way of being Andy or being other things, and you had TV shows and other stuff that you've appeared in, and one of the things I'm most envious of is just you being in Elf.
Yeah.
Every year that comes around is such
yeah.
a gift. I mean, like you've had all these great moments, but ultimately, I think people do know you as Andy.
Yes.
And being on Dancing with the Stars was another explosion of that, and give us more Andy.
Yeah.
Are you in a cool spot? Like, do you realize now that this character has been a great character to play this whole time?
Well, no, and I mean it's. The thing that I feel, the thing that's very rewarding to me is that I have, when you start out, you want to do everything you can to keep the job, to get the job, to do the thing and stuff. And then you start getting the job, and people start appreciating it, and you start getting hired for your merits, and you get a reputation as being, not only somebody that can do the job, like we want you to bring value to this finished product of this show. You can do that, but you're also like good to work with, and you know what you're talking about, and all those kinds of things. At a certain point, you learn the power of saying no to things. Because they will ask for everything.
Yeah.
I have a number of times done favors for whether it's a movie studio or a network, and they'll say, we won't forget this. They have always fucking forgotten it.
Right.
There's never been any sort of like, we remember that thing you did.
Yeah.
That you went and promoted that shitty movie that the stars of the movie would not promote, and you went and did it for a month.
Yeah.
I never got it.
Thanks for that. Here's your TV show.
Yes. So I have been myself.
Yeah.
And I have like made a point to be myself, not do a bunch of phony shit.
Yeah.
I have an allergy to fakeness that I'm not going to work around.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say fake stuff. I'm not going to do fake stuff. And I feel like that was one of the things that people noticed on Dancing with the Stars. And early on online, people talking about it, one of the words that I would see all the time was authentic or authenticity.
Yeah.
And that is like, I was actually just talking to a friend, a dad at school, who has a family business. They're in the distillery business in Missouri. And he told me that because he's kind of in charge of their social media. He said, I put out videos all the time trying to get this stuff. He goes like, we had one of my dumpy brother loading corn into a silo and then it being, wild up into a grinder that went into the distillery to make the whiskey. He said, 1.2 million. And I said, it's because it's real.
Yeah.
It's because it's a guy you're getting to really, it's not some cooked up skit.
Yeah,
it's the
right.
reality of like a dumpy guy. Like that's what that guy makes whiskey. Sure looks like it.
Yeah.
And so I feel very validated that like that is that's been people have said like
thing.
that's we like that.
That is
And
not a typical thing that people in your position of being the co-host sidekick kind of thing have ever really done.
And now I'm very comfortable in saying like, and I'm, just like different projects I've been working on right now where I'll get a note and I'm like, that is phony. I cannot do that because it's fake and it's not real. And we can figure something else out, but I just can't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, I do advertising. Like, I'm not saying like I won't, I won't perform for a dollar. Like, sure, it's a business, and I am a professional in a business.
Sure,
but I'm I'm very glad. I mean, Dancing with the Stars. For years, it's been kind of the last few years. It's not great for anybody.
Yeah.
The only solace I take is that everybody's short on work.
Right, exactly.
I always felt like something's going to happen that I'm going to be put back in front of people and they're going to go, oh yeah, that guy, let's hire him for this.
Right.
And that's starting to happen because of Dancing with the Stars.
Well, it's weird you say it that way because it's we do a thing on this program called An Uncomfortable Moment.
Oh.
And, you say you're not selling out and you say that, you're just in it for all the right reasons.
Yes.
Then some people have told me you've produced this. I don't know, but is that you've been passing out these cards. And
that poor woman.
These are being turned into T-shirts, I think. And it seems like you're not done milking.
My head is about 80% too big for my body.
Well, all right, we may or may not have photoshopped this.
That's not at all an uncomfortable moment.
No, not at all.
Glorious.
Here's another part of the uncomfortable moment. I ran into your family in Atlanta because they were doing Family Feud.
Yes.
And it was so great. They were great people.
Thank you.
And we were just in the bar. I was doing a show, and we all just went to the bar afterwards, and I ran into your family, and they were doing Family Feud. And it was right before you were doing Dancing with the Stars. And you also won a ton of money on Celebrity Jeopardy.
Yes.
For charity. Which
yes.
means either you're smart or
you
cheated.
Charity.
Or you cheated. Is it beyond you, now that you're not working out 4 hours a day, what would you do if your agent called and said, Andy, just gain a little more weight, and we're going to put you on my 600-pound life? Do you take the gig or no?
I would have to pass on that.
You'd pass.
I would have to pass on that.
Even if you stuck to your real...
No,
and you were 600?
Because I enjoy having sex with my wife, and I don't want that to end. And she loves me a lot, but 600 pounds is a little too much.
Last time we we ran into each other randomly a couple times this year. One was at Sirius XM.
Airport, wasn't it? Which airport was that?
It was
was it Atlanta after
we were doing Big Slick. You were doing Big Slick.
Right.
I had a gig in Kansas City. And we were early morning flight. We were seatmates.
Yes.
I sat next to you on the flight. And I guess this answers my question. I was going to ask how good of a seatmate was I, but you don't even remember being on the plane with me.
No, I do remember being with you. But we did not talk that much.
It was very early. We fell asleep.
Early. We both slept.
We went to sleep.
spooned.
We really did.
We asked him, could you remove this armrest?
I think at one point I said, if I do put my head on your shoulder, just let it be.
And you didn't even need to say that.
Did you ever get in a fist fight with Conan?
No.
Nothing.
Yeah. Not even like we never even had we certainly have had disagreements, and we definitely love each other, and we are in each other's lives forever. But we've certainly, it is very similar to family.
Yeah.
In terms of there's times where you and your brother are sick of each other.
Sure, of course.
The people that you love most.
Yeah.
But I don't even think we've ever had a yelling argument,
Yeah.
Well, we've definitely had disagreements and where we've had to sit down and talk about
something,
yeah. But it's always been pretty civil and pretty,
Were any of those disagreements on whether or not I should have been back on the show?
No, not a one.
That's good.
Yeah. We are in agreement on that.
Yeah. Huh? It says on your Wikipedia that you were prom king.
It is true.
Do you ever go back and wield your power?
I do not. No, I don't need to.
Right.
Yeah. Matt Rogers was just on my show, the comedian from Las Culturistas, and he too was prom king. So we got to. He's the only other prom king I've met.
Yeah,
so it was
that's pretty good.
Yeah. No, that was that was really nice.
Yeah.
No, it's
of course.
Yeah, it's really nice to be. it's a Sally Field. You really like
You really,
me. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that really is your superpower.
Thank you.
People really like you.
Thank you.
And I am included in that.
Thank you very much.
And it's just from the time you showed up, I think it's not a real surprise. I mean, it's a surprise that it was the dancing show, but it's not a surprise that people saw you and who maybe even didn't know you before and fell in love.
They
right?
didn't. This holiday season, every day I'd see screen grabs of me and Elf, and people going like, "I didn't know he was an elf."
Right? Yeah.
So okay,
no prior stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm very proud of that, and I do. I mean, I wouldn't say like I try hard to be liked, but I do try hard to be a nice, kind, considerate person.
Right.
Without being a doormat.
Right.
And I also like one thing that's important to me is morale. No matter where I am, it's like let's all keep things buoyant. Let's all, and I like making people laugh. I like being funny, and so it's like I think a lot of people really like working with me. Like crew people always love me because I like to have fun and I like to laugh and I don't understand why you would do this work and not want to have fun.
Right.
Like
exactly.
That's like, why are you doing this? This is really hard.
Yeah.
That's
the benefit of this.
Yes. You get to have fun all the time.
There's no real boss
Even
here.
on like a drama.
Yeah.
Let's, we're not rolling now. Let's have some fun.
Yeah. I'm going to end the interview by asking you an origin question.
All right.
Because I really don't know the answer to it. And
Okay.
it's kind of embarrassing, but what is the origin story with you and Conan?
The origin story with me and Conan was that, I'm from Chicago, improv scene in Chicago. There was a show that we did in Chicago called The Real Life Brady Bunch, which was Brady Bunch episodes on stage. I've talked about it ad nauseum, but it was a very popular thing in the early 90s. There was a 70s nostalgia wave, and it just lined up perfectly, and very funny, talented people were in this show. It played in Chicago very successfully, and then it was taken to New York and played at the Village Gate there for maybe 2 years,
Yeah.
But I was part of that production. And simultaneous to that, a couple friends of mine got on Saturday Night Live. Melanie Hutzel and Beth Cahill, and through Beth, I met Robert Smigel, and he and I just kind of hung out and we hit it off, sort of as friends. I ended up doing the Brady Bunch in L.A. They moved the show to L.A. and we were here at the Geffen, was then the Westwood Playhouse. Robert came in the summertime to work on a movie. And we hung out then, and so we were friendly there. He and Conan were creative partners from working on Saturday Night Live together.
Right.
Conan had left SNL and was on The Simpsons, got the job replacing Letterman. One of Conan's conditions was Robert Smigel's my head writer, producer. So that happened. I mean, I was aware of that just happening the way anyone else was.
Yeah.
And in fact, Kate Flannery and I went to a sitcom pilot taping of Jeff Garlin playing a beat cop. And it was kind of like very honeymooners.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. But Kate Flannery and I went to it, and we sat in front of Bob Odenkirk and Carol Leifer.
Right.
And because Bob was part of this sort of like very small group of Conan, Robert, they did a show together during a writer's strike in Chicago. And I just eavesdropped on the whole thing as Bob and Carol talked about it. And Bob and I had known each other from Chicago a little bit, but just not too much. But also just as a side note, during that time, that was when I was in LA and I was making the movie Cabin Boy. I had come back to LA and I was making the movie Cabin Boy. And I went to a party at Bob's house in LA and Conan was there. There was only about 20 people there and we just didn't talk. and I was not aware that he was at that party, and it wasn't until years, and this is maybe a month before we actually met.
Interesting.
And it wasn't until later that we figured out, like years later, like, oh yeah, I was at that party. We just didn't connect or talk.
Wild.
But so they were looking for writers. Robert called me out of the blue. I was living in a studio apartment here, and he said, do you want to try and get a job with this Conan guy? And I said, yeah. I met him for lunch at Junior's Deli, and again, we hit it off immediately.
Yeah.
We just, Robert told me that after our lunch, after our very silly, absolutely dopey, like I say, like we both are stupid in the same way and love being stupid, and we're just stupid, just doing bits. Like immediately, I just was like, we both kind of had the sense like, oh, I can just bit out with this guy.
Yeah. That's great.
Robert told me that Conan called him and said, hire him. And Robert was like, let's see what he writes. And I wrote a packet of material, which okay. Nobody teaches you how to write a packet for a late night show. And apparently it was good enough, and I got the job, and I was the first writer hired. And I showed up at 30 Rock, and I think there was maybe, honestly, 6, 7 other people on the show at that point. Just empty offices. I was able to come in and pick from 25 empty offices. Just like, all right, I guess this will be my office here.
That's great.
And then it just evolved. Our chemistry was just there from the beginning. Yeah. And as it evolved in him doing test shows, Robert was always telling me, go out and sit with him. Go out and sit with him. Just keep him company. And I take people at face value. I was like, all right, keep him company, because you don't want him getting bored, And I did that through all the test shows. And then Robert was like, do you want to be the sidekick? I was like, yeah, okay, sure. And then it just kind of, at a certain point, Lorne signed off on it, the network signed off on it, and then that was it.
Right. That's amazing. But it makes perfect sense. For your whole career.
Well, people are always like, "Did you audition?" And it's like, well, I guess sort of, but just
this guy's funny. I
want
to be around him.
Yeah. Well, that's why I always tell people, because they're especially in the old, people used to complain that somehow comedy and television was like a closed loop of just people hiring their pals, and I was like, look, if you opened a hot dog stand, would you look for hot dog artists, or would you're going to spend hours there, or would you hire your friends?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can spend time with them, and you have, and also it's like, funny people know the funniest people.
Right, exactly.
It's not like they're going to be, the chance, my first job, my first task on the Conan show, first day, I sat in front of a packet of, or a pile of packets this high, and they're like 10 pages a piece. So it was like hundreds of them. And I went through that whole packet, and I followed Robert's lead. He was very particular. He read every page, which it took a lot of discipline, because you can read 2 pages in and go like, this is shit.
Yeah.
But he read every page, but he was very particular and had very high standards. From that stack that was this big that sat on my desk, one guy that I felt was funny enough to work with us.
Jeez.
And he did. And so that was it's hard to be funny.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
And it's,
yeah, but when you see it, you know it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for
telling
that story again. I'm sure you've told it before.
I'm going to just eat this on the way home.
You can. We don't even have to put it in the bag.
Yeah.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you, Tom.